Hi, I'm Kat with Standing Stone Kennels, and this is Rogue. She needs her nails trimmed, so we thought we would show you what that process looks like. This is going to be a fun process with her, first of all. She's being pretty squirmy, and it's important to remember, especially the first couple times you're trimming your puppy's nails, to make sure you have enough time to do that. We don't want to just tackle her down, pin her down, and quick trim her nails. We want to help her learn to settle down through that process so that though it may take a long time in these first few nail trimming sessions, then as she gets older and has become accustomed to being handled and had the expectation that she needs to behave and lay there nicely to get her nails trimmed, that will make the process as she gets older that much easier to do. So I like to put the puppies on their back like this. And this is going to take a little while. We're going to have to let her kind of settle down and get used to this. Good. We like to use a smaller style nail clipper. It gives us a little more control over the situation and over each nail. Now, Rogue has a couple of black nails and a couple of white nails or clear nails, and we hear a lot of times, oh, it's so much easier to trim my puppy's nails because they're clear, or I can't trim black nails because I can't see the quicks. Well, we don't like to say, oh, well, I can see the quick, it's right there, so I'm just going to cut right there. Because just like through water, things can be distorted, just like through her nail, where that quick is actually at can be slightly distorted. So I would rather go off of feel, how the nail feels and its shape, and where that nail catches is where I like to make that clip. So she didn't fight too bad on that one, but she did try and nip at my fingers a little bit, and I'm going to settle her down and show her that that's not okay. Just grabbing her by the muzzle a little bit like that helps calm her down, settle her down, puts her in a more submissive position. And I want her to submit to me trimming her nails. When I'm trimming her nails, I check and see if I quicked her at all, but no quicks. And if you do get a little drop of blood, it's not the end of the world. Your puppy's not going to hate you forever. That is fine. And if we expose just a little bit of that quick, that'll actually help their nails not to get overly long. Sometimes, especially in older dogs that haven't had their nails kept up on very well, that quick actually grows out longer and longer and longer. And as you're trying to trim that nail, you can't trim it as short as you need to because of how far that quick's grown out. Stop. So I'm going to help her settle down there. It's definitely a lot easier to work with your puppy when they're this size and more manageable than fighting a 40 or 50 pound dog through this process. So we do nail trims weekly with our puppies, whether they really need it or not, just so that they get used to us handling them. This is also a good time to check your puppy's ears, check their teeth, those sharp little needle teeth, and let them settle down through that process as well, because when you have vet checkups and when your dog gets older and you're going hunting and you need to do tailgate checks to make sure they don't have stickers in their paws or seeds in their eyes or anything going on like that, it makes them a lot more tolerant of that process. So we've got one paw done. So just redirecting her focus a little bit from, you're going to get your tongue chopped. So she's licking a little bit at my hands, which can escalate and lead to nipping. So I'm not going to let her do that. I also don't want to accidentally clip her tongue. You can give her some smacks in the nose. I'm not being overly forceful with her. and I might need to up the pressure a little bit because she's strong-willed. Every puppy's a little bit different, and some puppies are going to submit a little bit quicker than others, and some are going to be feisty and fight you the whole process. And we want her to be a little more submissive and not nip at my fingers, because that's not okay behavior. Good. This would be a really good nail. I don't know if you can get a close-up, but how I just exposed that quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So there's no blood, but the tip of that quick is just slightly exposed.
Perfect.
Good. The nice thing about putting the puppy on your back and in between your legs is you can kind of sandwich them between your legs and get a little more pressure and control over them if they start getting too flaily. Shh, shh, shh. The key thing is you don't want them to fight, cry, whine, and you're running short on time, so you let them get out of the situation. Because then that puppy has learned that, hey, if I just fight and throw a giant fit long enough, mom will give up because she doesn't have time for that. Well, we don't want them to learn that behavior. We want them to learn that, no, I have all the patience in the world and I can deal with you throwing a fit as long as I need to in order to help you calm down. The time we put in now when we're developing a puppy is going to be very important over the entire course of their development. So they're learning now that if I throw a giant fit about my nails, I can get out of it. Or they can take that same mentality of, oh, if I throw a giant fit now, I get out of it for my nail trimming. Well, the same must be true about this training situation or going in my crate. I'll just get out of it if I throw a giant fit long enough. My parents will give in, and we need them to understand that that's not the case.
We had a question here, a comment in regards to David. Thank you for tuning in here. Had the vet do his puppy's nails at 10 weeks old, but she's now 14 weeks old and needs it again.
Yes, so we typically try and trim our puppy's nails every week, whether they necessarily need it or not, just so that they get used to being handled and manipulated and put in these positions so they get comfortable with trimming their nails. Now, I know that vets do trim nails, groomers trim nails, and things like that, but going and getting your puppy's nails trimmed just because you don't have the time for it can get expensive. As well as you can push that appointment off of, oh, well, I don't have time to get them in every week, so I'll just push it to every month. And their nails will get longer and their quicks will grow out, and you won't be able to get the nails short enough. And nail health is really important in all dogs, especially working dogs, because they're working hard, running through the field, and if their nails get too long, they can easily break one of those nails, and it can be very painful, it can get infected, it can cause a lot of issues. So nail health maintenance is very important. But yes, your vet can do it. Groomers can do it. Sometimes we've seen posts and people sharing that it takes 3 vet techs to pin their dog down to get their nails trimmed. Well, hopefully, if you can go through this process, even if your dog is at the vet and they need their nails trimmed, it won't turn into a battle for the vet techs and everyone involved, or they won't have to resort to sedating your dog just to trim their nails. Because when you go to the vet, a lot of times the vet has to check their ears and listen to their heart and do a bunch of other things. So I'm going to probably flip Rogue around here so I can get to her back legs a little bit easier.
We got another question.
Mm-hmm.
What are the best clippers you have found?
We can put a couple links in the video itself of the nail clippers that we tend to use. I usually buy a pair off of Amazon that are the small size, fairly inexpensive. Around here we trim a lot of nails, so I actually go through nail trimmers fairly frequently because they do get dull, and a dull nail trimmer isn't going to do as good of a job, and it's going to break the nail more than it's going to cut and trim the nail, and that's not comfortable either. So Rogue's fighting a little bit more here. I'm going to just take the time to settle her down so that she can't get away and that she understands that fighting's not going to get her what she wants. Just help her settle down a little bit again. Oh, and there's our doorbell. Must have a package being delivered. Shh. Shh. Hey, hey, hey. So she's getting a little more flaily. Another thing that you can keep in mind is, just like our training sessions, we try and keep those short. Nail trimming sessions, you also need to try and, yes, take as much time as necessary and not let your dog get out of the situation when they're fighting. But let's say your puppy is even more of a fighter and a struggler than what Rogue is. Well, make it a goal to, let's do her front paws in the morning. When she's calmed down like this, you can let her up and then do her back nails that evening. Now, we're going to finish Rogue's nails. She only has a few more left, but that's definitely something you can do. You just wouldn't want to let her up and be like, fine, we're done, in the middle of a fight. Shh. We're just about done, baby. I know. Jeez. So, like I said, she's got a little bit of a persistent personality, and she's not going to get out of this situation until she settles down. Shh. Shh. We have 2 nails left. Shh. 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 Hey. So she's starting to get a little vocal about this as well. This is not the time where I say, oh, well, I'm done then. You know, I'm not hurting her. I'm holding her and not letting her get out of this situation, but she's definitely not being hurt. And if she gets what she wants now of, oh, I cry a little bit and then mom gives in, then she's going to turn to vocalizing about everything. So though we're done, that was her last nail, she's not getting out of it yet. So we're going to hold her here again until she settles down. A couple other things that while I help her settle down, I want to mention is some of the nail trimmers have a guard that swings out over the clipper blades. You never want to use that as a measurement of how much nail to trim off, because like I was mentioning, some dogs' nails that quick grows out a little bit farther than others. Puppy nails are actually, a lot smaller than an adult dog's nails. And each nail gets worn a little bit differently. So I'm going to just swing you around here. There. But so you never want to use that guard as a measurement of how much nail to trim. You want to use the feel of the nail, which we've done quite a few live videos on nail trimming that we can put another link to those in this comment as well, so you can get a little bit better idea of the actual nail trimming process. This was more of a show you how to help your puppy settle down through this process and become comfortable getting their nails trimmed, how to not rush through that process and just hog tie her and quick clip, 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 clip. That's not going to help the process. And you might be able to hog tie her now when she's just this little thing, but as she gets older and as some of your other dogs get older, it's not going to be as easy to hog tie them and quick trim their nails. So she's definitely settled back down and is better behaved now. So I'm going to let her up. Okay, Rogue. Good girl. And that is it for nails Rogue trimming. She says, whew, that was a tough training session. But we will be back soon with another live video on Rogue's training. Thanks for watching.